Hey there, it's Jennie Wolek with the Wolek Group, Keller Realty here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I love talking to my agent friends across the country, so I've brought back my Agent Success Secrets series where I get to pick the brain of really smart people who are doing amazing things in this world called real estate. So today I'm here with my friend Rebecca Cullen out of Charlotte, and I want to learn from you, Rebecca. Tell me and everyone who you are and what you got going on there in Charlotte, helping lots of families.
Well, thank you. So, yep, Charlotte metro area. We also serve South Carolina, which is just right on the border of Charlotte. And so we have a team of 12 and majority is admin squad. We are foundational heavy and we will serve 140 families this year for about 52 million in volume. Whereas last year we did 37 million in volume and served 83 families. So lots of growth this year.
Which is super exciting because I don't know if you took a little bit of a setback like I did and lots of other businesses did over the past 6 months have been rough. Have you just been chugging along and not allowing things outside of your control to take over? Or what's really been your success in keeping your momentum going, honestly?
Yeah. Well, that's the key. So I feel like Q2 or Q3, Q4 of 2022 felt like 2019
Right.
and or even 2016. Like it just, I was like, where did all the sales go? And so we didn't stop, and we continued to attract agents to our company through that. And so we realized all of a sudden when people were ready to sell or people were ready to relocate, we had stayed in touch with them enough to all of a sudden have the hand raisers. So our, whatever quarter we're in right now, it was just big. And it felt like all of the things that we worked on for the last 6 months all of a sudden came to realization.
So something I want to touch on is that you said that you were focused on attracting great agents. So what is something and why would someone want to join your team that we can learn from? Because I experienced in our market that a lot of agents got out of the business. And so we were kind of using this gimmicky pitch of, don't quit, join us, right? Like, don't give up. You just need some leverage and help that we can provide you. What was your message? How did you bring great people into your world?
Yeah, very similarly, we had the foundation infrastructure. So I wanted to be really clear that if for some reason my entire team decided that we weren't a good fit, we would still be able to serve the same amount of families, whether that's through our lead opportunity, which is fully database, and the infrastructure as far as the admin squad goes. We just wanted to be the place that agents could feel serviced and feel like they could plug in. And that's actually part of our value proposition, is that we are here to be the resource for the agents. And so if they didn't want to serve buyers and sellers multiple, they wanted to just specialize in buyers, or they just wanted to specialize in sellers, we could help them market to those people and have all the admin leverage already for them. So similarly, it was golden handoff. If an agent decided to retire out of the business, we could just attract their database and actually give them a massive return on investment. Or also, if they didn't want to, serve 50 families or serve them not well, they could just plug into our system.
How did they know you were hiring? What was your call to action there?
So every single one of our database newsletters and also agent newsletters included, hey, we are hiring. And our database newsletters linked to our LinkedIn page. And it was just kind of different marketing. And if someone was thinking about getting into real estate, then they were attracted to that message. If they were an agent that was looking to get out of the business, there was great marketing to that, which was, our core values, which is be a team player, leadership, solution-based, growth-minded, and driven. And so we would have different messages with those values so that we could find the hand raisers or the people that were intrigued by the message and wanted to learn more.
So it sounds like first you had to get really clear on who you are as a business organization, what your culture looked like, and then you could attract the right people into your world.
Yes. And also having a proven system around making $100,000, when you actually plug into our systems, you will guarantee, we guarantee $100,000 of GCI. And a new agent was like, oh my gosh, of course I want to make $100,000. But also agents who were spending more than they were making loved that idea because we were actually going to take on all of their expenses that they had.
Okay.
So it was a good win-win of a messaging.
And isn't that so interesting? No matter where you live in the country or probably the world, $100,000 is the magic number. Everyone wants to make it, whether they realize the work it's going to take or not. But the value is making sure they understand that's net.
Yes, it is net. It's really exciting.
Yeah, I want to start over and be an agent on a team.
Well, and sometimes, and you know, we all have fun agent conversations when we are all together, and yet, you know, sometimes it feels like it's easier to just plug into someone else's systems. I'm now at the point where we're actually attracting agents that say, I want to earn $200,000. I want to earn $250,000 plugged into these systems. And so we have to figure out how we can grow our world to be able to do that for them.
So how have you grown in your leadership? So it hasn't been that long that you have really been in this business and had the aha, oh, I need a database and I'm going to fail a little bit through leadership. And, you know, what are the lessons you've learned along the way in growing yourself so that others will want to be in your world and keeping it big enough so they won't want to leave?
I love that question. So ego is the enemy. All of those books I would read over and over just to make sure that my mindset was right about leadership. I'm very much a do whatever it takes mentality. And I realized early that if they were like me, if the people in my world were like me, then they would also have a really big mega agent team. And so not everyone is like me, and I have to be okay or patient with people who are not like I am, because there's definitely gifts in that talent. And so, gosh, I've spent lots of time traveling. I've spent lots of time on mentorship and leadership opportunities so that I could grow as a leader to make sure that I wasn't, it's ego. Ego was getting in the way big time for years. And once I got rid of that, everything got easier and everything got more simple.
I think you're so right. And I say the same exact thing. I just got out of their way, right? I got over myself and out of the way. And then our trajectory and production increased more than when I was trying to be all things to all people inside of it. So that's
For
a great.
sure.
So with your current role in your team, why don't I just map out so everyone understands where you are and how you've grown. Your timeline over time has had, kind of following the model and kind of messing up like we all do. And so where are you now in your org chart, and what is your role specifically?
Yeah. So today, if you look at the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, we're like 4A, 4B. We're like right under expansion opportunities. We're exploring that. That's an opportunity that we're definitely open to, yet we're thinking more like an ink blot spot, like Gary originally did, where we have agents all over Charlotte and the hub is in Fort Mill. And so right now, that's about where we are. And my sole role in our organization is visionary and making it rain. And I take that role it's important because we kind of have this dependent model in which if the agents plug in and they find value in us, we better have the leads for them or the relationships that they can earn. And that's my role. I used to joke, like, I'm one of the highest paid inside sales agents, and that's my responsibility.
So you shared with me that now you see over time you've learned, you've taken that class called Bold a few times, like 8 or something, 9, I don't know, whatever your number is. It's a lot. And that was a great class for me as well, because it just got my mindset right and then gave me the systems and the accountability to set up my business for success. Now you just say, if you're going to make your contacts, those may not always be to buyers or sellers. What else could you do? And how do you time block for that lead and keep it organized that today I'm calling these certain people, or how are you remembering all this?
So my coach, Craig Zuber, said probably 2 years ago now, if you start lead generating to business owners and producing agents, the buyers and sellers will come. And I started to implement 2 days of business to business conversations in which I'm attracting potential vendor opportunities or ancillary business opportunities. And inevitably, the business relationships bring buyers and sellers. And it wasn't until that clicked for me, which I've definitely not mastered at this moment, yet it's true, because you will get 30 referrals, or if you attract a producing agent, that'll be 30 pieces of business that you wouldn't have had otherwise. And so it just doubles your time if you're lead generating to the right people.
So what's your strategy with that? Whether it's, let's talk mainly on business to business type conversations. Do you have, who are you going to talk to? Is there a plan behind it, or just kind of wing it each day when you hop into your calls?
I used to wing it, and of course there was no return there, but we created a Facebook community that mirrors similar to what you have in Tulsa. Ours is called Charlotte Looks Good on You. And we just call businesses, small business owners specifically, and say, hey, we have this incredible organic group and we'd love to invite you into it. And feel free to use it as a resource, mark it in there, whatever you desire. And then I ask them questions and grow a relationship with them, just because that was an easy make it about them conversation. We've actually served 3 or 4 families multiple times over the years because that was an initial outreach phone call. They've now become investors. We've helped them personally for other purposes. So that's a great initial call, but also LinkedIn. Again, I have not mastered this. However, LinkedIn, I specifically go on and I start lead generating there and just send out outreach messages. How can I add value to your business? How can I teach you about the one thing, or profit first, or whatever book I'm like really plugged into at the moment? Make it about them.
That's super smart. I love that. I think that's a really easy way for people to lead generate and talk to people, especially like if you were new to a town or you felt like your database was stale and you already have called all of them. What a great way to add people to your database. I know that's important to you. Do you do anything special with your database, or what lessons have you learned in the database game?
Yeah, I think we were doing a 36 touch. We would invite people to the client experiences and just stay in touch with them. But it really wasn't until we started to market to our database the same way we would do our farming or our for sale by owner conversations, which was truly like, hey, would you consider selling your home at 123 Main Street to one of our buyers? Or we would switch gears and say, hey, I noticed that your neighbor went on the market. Did you know that we serve 11% more families in our neighborhood than anyone else? We have buyers in the wings ready for the neighborhood. Who should we be reaching out to? And it wasn't until we were doing that consistently that people were like, oh yeah, that's so weird. There's like random agents serving our neighborhood, but Rebecca and her team actually have 4 or 6 at a time, and they sell faster. So now we just get, random come list me's because we taught our database and our farm that's in the database how to be in relationship with us.
Okay, so that is such an aha moment for me. I think that so many of us know we're supposed to connect with our database, our people, our Mets. We know them in some fashion, family, friend, high school acquaintance, whatever, right? You've got this pool of people that know you. And then we're so afraid to talk real estate to them. So you're telling me that when you switched it from rather than here's the latest recipe on this note card, this postcard, instead, let's educate them on the current market and how they refer us and what we're doing in this business.
Yes, it was that changed everything for us. And I started to realize that my financial advisor is consistently talking to me every quarter. Why are we, and Jason Abrams, says it every time he's in front of a room. We should be talking to our database the same way that the financial advisor or your lender talks to you. And so often agents don't do that because they're scared of how those people feel. And sometimes people call me like grateful that we do this consistently because they can be engaged in the stock market or conversations with their financial advisors because they know. And of course, they're going to call us when they're ready.
Well, the lesson I want to make sure everyone hears is that if they're in your Met database, they already know you, trust you, and like you. So they're going to respect that you are being a professional. I think that so many of us build our database and want to kind of hide behind, the messaging and not actually have a two-way conversation with the people until they were to, hey, let's do some business together. But gosh, what a whole nother level, Rebecca, that you've changed your thinking around that. So in your role today on your team, you're the lead listing agent. Do you have plans to stay in that role? Do you do it because you love it, or is it because it's just currently the path that you're on by following the model?
Yeah, the lead listing profitability, number one,
Yeah.
it's more profitable. However, I pay myself as if it's a split so that I'm not thinking about it differently on the P&L. We allow all of our agents to take sellers if they're sphere or they lead generated to get it. And so as soon as somebody beats me in the amount of business, like they can have that role. Yet there's a responsibility that I have to my team to be profitable. And so that's why I still take listings. Occasionally, I'll still serve buyers. I'm very investment minded. And so typically the buyers that I am serving are investors, but those are, Monday through Friday, sometimes sight unseen. We just structure a deal and they go under contract. So I'll take those all day long.
I love that. You said something that I think you have shared with me already is something important to you. If someone is in your world, they need to earn the right to the title or the role. And you said that they got to beat you. So that's what you're saying, right? Show me that you can do it better than me and bring it.
Yes.
So talk about how that's happened in your other roles and positions in your team.
I failed forward in this many times where I would train a whole group of people around the buyer consultation or how we go on 15-minute long listing consults and then take the listing. Like I would train all these people. But then when it came to my team, I was just like, oh, you should already know because you've watched me do this for so many years. And the reality is they weren't necessarily paying attention because they thought that I would teach them more, or I didn't have them plug into the webinars like these other people watch. And so now they have to earn the ability to go on seller appointments or buyer consultations. And so we have them actually sit and master the listing presentation before they can even take a listing. And that's really important. That was a huge change. And sometimes people want to speed up and go fast. And if they can't go back with having the listing signed, then it's just like burning cash up in the air. And it's actually irresponsible, I feel like, on my part, because I'm not training them well. And so now that's part of our training process.
Well, and that's not fair to the consumer and your clients either,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
Now that really has a ding on your reputation as well. Well, I
For
know
sure.
we could keep talking forever and ever, and I love learning from you. This has been so great. So before we wrap up here, is there anything that I didn't ask you that I should have that people need to learn from you?
No, I think like I'm very much learn my lesson, move on, recalibrate, and I'm very, very learning based. And so if people want to reach out at any time, there's no secret sauce. Like we've learned from people ahead of us. We just rip off and duplicate their systems, and consistency is really key. And I truly, truly believe the path for my future and my mission and my why, it's through other people. And so it's my responsibility to make sure if I go to a mastermind or fly across the country, everything I've learned, I'm sharing with everybody else. It's part of my why. And I feel like I could be a catalyst to others. So if someone wants to have any questions or a one-on-one conversation, I'm always open. Outside of my time block, I will make sure that there's room for that.
I love it. You're going to follow your calendar first. So
Yeah.
share with everyone on our wrap up, because I think this is really important for others to hear. What does your daily time block look like so that everyone understands that to be super successful, you are very purposeful with your time?
Yes. So daily, I have my silence on my notifications. They don't pop on until 8:30. And so I am at the gym or doing something myself until 8:30 daily. I typically wake up between 5:40, 6 o'clock, and then do health related activities. And then 8:30 till about 11 is lead generation. I typically don't take appointments before that 11 o'clock timeframe. And that lead generation we've already talked about is typically recruitment conversations or building business conversations. And then from 11 till 2:30 is appointments or closings or coaching conversations. And 2:30, I am committed to being with my kiddos or my family. And if I choose to take a seller or a buyer after hours, that's my decision. And I'm very, very, very committed to that schedule.
So it can be done. You can be a great mom, great partner, and a great businesswoman, as well as community giver and all of the things. You can.
Yes.
You just have to decide. I love it. All right. Well, how can people best find you? And we'll make sure and share all your links and stuff as well.
Yeah. So 980-428-4477 is my phone number. Rebecca Cullen at kw.com is my email. And find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram, be an opener of doors. That's all of our information.
Got it all. Well, we're so grateful for you. Thanks for sharing all your good stuff, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.